Thanks for joining us again for another episode. Gibbo's back, mate.
Had to have it eventually.
What do you look like?
I know, I'm much older than last time I was here.
Jesus, there's a bit of grey.
A lot more grey, man. I got full salt and pepper happening.
I think that happened after you watched April Fool's Day. The stress of it.
We still believe that's the movie that puts you off for a while.
I've watched so many movies that I didn't end up coming to do the podcast for different varying reasons, but yeah, no, it's good to be back.
Good. No Maddie, unfortunately. But...
Still watching Catfish.
He's just sick, man.
He will watch a dog too.
He would.
He will watch anything.
I'm just watching Catfish. I don't understand how these people keep getting forward. It's like, really, mate? You're the one watching it. God
He's interested
damn.
in the social element of things.
Of course,
I can
it's a social
understand.
experiment.
Oh yeah, they're all social experiments.
Okay, tonight's film, Commando. Everyone's been super keen for this one.
I can't believe we hadn't done it before. I really thought we had.
I know, so like, we kicked the shit out of Vernon Wells.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot.
We've walloped Wells a few times.
Warranted.
But before we get to that, let's do a quick whip round.
Quick, Jesus.
I'll go first because mine's very quick. I basically started re-watching a couple of slasher TV shows. So I started watching Harper's Island and got about 8 episodes through that. Look, I actually think that's the most enjoyable one of the lot. It's just a tad too long, I think, and there are a couple of little problems with it, but it's enjoyable stuff, and I actually think it's the best one of the lot.
They actually marketed it the best too.
Yeah,
like they made it
one
an
by
event.
one, you know.
Yeah, putting the posters up of all the faces and then changing them the week after with a face gone.
Yeah,
whoever was killed and things.
I think their marketing, it didn't translate to people watching it a little bit, but
Well,
I
we
like
watched
that idea.
Oh, yeah, that means something. You guys have never been known to dig deep or anything?
I mean, the first week people were interested to talk about it, and then the second week onwards, me and Adam were very interested to talk about it, but no one else.
That was it.
This was flying between us. And then I watched the first 2 episodes of Scream, season 1. Gee, that first episode is as clunky as hell. Like, watching it back, I was just like, it wasn't good. Second episode was much better, but I'm going to just run through both seasons again. But I remember why I kind of went off it, and you can see bits of it in the pilot that proves that it was a little bit average to start with.
I remember why I went off it, because the second season was shit, and so it was that special.
Oh yeah.
I just remember you saying it wasn't very good, and I'm like, if you're saying it's bad and it's based on Scream, I'm not even going there. I've got other things to do with my life.
Right.
So do I, but I just kept doing it.
I've supposedly got other things to do, but I choose not to do them.
No, you don't. We know you don't.
But that's it. That's all.
Do you want to go, mate? Because I've got quite the little sachet.
Oh.
I'm just as short. I started 11/22/63.
Yeah.
So I knocked over the audio book on Audible. Absolutely punched through 36 hours of that. I started watching the TV show. It's good. Like, I don't mind it. I'm just not sure on Franco. Like, he just doesn't seem right for the role for me.
He doesn't seem old enough. That was the problem I have with it.
And they also make a couple of changes that I like in parts, like the Bill Turkett character, how they bring him. He's much more prominent in the TV show, obviously, but then that introduces some really. I don't hesitate to say lazy, but it seems like, really just stuff that's jammed in there to complicate things down the track. But yeah, I'm about six episodes in, so we'll see how it finishes off. I saw Godzilla, King of Monsters. I didn't mind it.
I liked the first new Godzilla.
Yeah, so did I. I liked it. As I said to Adam, Bryan Cranston was criminally underused. The movie itself was okay. I didn't mind this one. Like, there's some really stupid stuff that happens, and some of the things that happen, you really have to make a leap to get there, but the monsters are fun. The monsters are pretty fun.
I guess this one played a little bit more to, we want to see monsters belting each other.
Yeah, and it's
what
still,
we're here for.
I mean, it's still relevant. The messages around it are still relevant about what we're doing to the earth and all that sort of shit, so I enjoyed that enough. And the last one I saw, I took the kids to Aladdin today.
How was that? Will Smith?
Look,
is it as bad as I think it is?
It's not. It's actually alright.
God.
Yeah, my daughter said it was pretty good.
It's
fuck.
I
said Will Smith was the best part of it.
No, you know what? Everyone seems to have an issue with Jafar. I actually think he was one of the better acted efforts in there. He was a bit young, and obviously you can't with animation, his head was fucking so long and the features were obviously evil. You can't do that with a human unless they actually look like that.
Yeah, he looked like an earthworm, the first guy.
Yeah, but he was alright. Will Smith was likeable, but the problem is, and this was my issue from the start, was he's not Robin Williams.
You can't go there.
And Robin Williams is just a fucking force of nature. Like, just casually, I was YouTubing Robin Williams and stumbled across his efforts on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
The bloke was a fucking genius.
Yeah.
He's just a genius. And that's why the original one still stands up. And that's why people are still interested in seeing the Genie. Yeah. And Will Smith does his own things with it. He's fine and he's likeable. But...
Is he Mike Lowry?
There's a little bit of Lowry. There's a few gags that are along the Mike Lowry track. Yeah, it was alright. It was good. It was good fun, but I'm yet to see one of these Disney live action ones that's
to me, Lion King's going to really be the one that, because that was nominated. The animated one was nominated for an Oscar for best movie. You know. So you've got a lot of work to do. And that's got to be top class.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Aladdin did okay in the sense that when they did the musical numbers and stuff, they really tried to make it. It was almost like a stage musical, but just on steroids or something. There was dances everywhere and fucking shit going on, and that was probably the way to go. But why is Guy Ritchie directing?
Can I just say
that's the weirdest part of it.
A quick side note about Guy Ritchie. I was flicking channels the other night and came across a 2-minute section of King Arthur where they're discussing some kind of robbery or something, and they're talking about, honest to goodness, I thought it was Lock, Stock.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is fucking
But that happens,
bullshit.
and that's classic Guy Ritchie, and that happens a number of times. I think it happens at least twice in that movie where they're talking through the plan, and then you see the plan happening, and then it's like, and then we'll do this, and then the plan, and then you see them do it, and then, yeah.
And I was just watching it thinking, no wonder I didn't watch this.
It's actually not a bad movie.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But yeah,
you just got to not decide what it is before you see it. It's its own thing. It's just weird. But that's the exact point. Like Aladdin for Guy Ritchie that's even weirder than King Arthur.
Yeah.
That's not even.
Yeah. So
I just don't see it.
All the things that I thought was, look, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I'll give it that. But again, if I'm going to watch Aladdin, I'm going to watch the animated one. So.
True.
I'm still wondering why they're doing all this. It's just cashing in, but. I don't know, are they going to make sequels or something? Who knows? That's me. That was all I had.
Obviously, I've been here for quite a while. I seem to do this a lot. Like, just get like this big bank of shit and then come in and dump it on everyone.
It's going to be like you're just reading the TV guide.
Give us the good stuff.
So I watched Triple Frontier on Netflix. It's Netflix original. Really stacked cast for that one. It's pretty like standard like action sort of thriller sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen that one. It's actually pretty good.
Watched it, yeah. It's the one with
It's Ben Affleck,
and from Pedro Pascal is in it?
Pedro Pascal's in it, and Oscar Isaac, and Charlie Hunnam. Yeah, like it's actually really good. It's got some cool stuff in it, but it's pretty like just generic. There's nothing like new or amazing in it, but just a good solid action movie. Watched obviously Endgame. This will show you how long since I've been here. Watched Endgame as soon as it came out and haven't been here since. So that's quite a while ago now.
April Fool's Day. I still do it.
Yeah. So watched that. That was, you know, I think what everyone expected. Really, really solid. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Final season.
How did you take the ending? Would you like him to redo the entire verse?
Did you sign the petition?
No, I'm not one of those people. I mean, I don't understand what people wanted. Like that show got its bones basically by building characters and stuff for the future of the show. But then if the show's going to end, all that stuff's got to get tied up somehow.
Yeah. I also like the fact that the way they tied some of it up matched up with a bunch of fan theories that people had been tossing around and going, oh yeah, that sounds alright. And then when it happens, they're like, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's start.
The only thing I had issue with is the way the Jon Snow stuff sort of panned out.
Yeah.
I don't think what ended up happening with him is wrong, but the fact that no one brought up who he actually was after that was the big reveal. It just seemed like that was like, oh, look what we got, and then we're going to tuck that in the cupboard and never reveal it.
Yeah.
Even Tyrion and stuff in that last thing. Oh, this is fucking a bit spoilery, but you haven't watched it by now. It's too late. Just Tyrion when he gets brought in handcuffs, and all of a sudden people are listening. Like, this is all stuff that I've had people say on podcasts as well. Like, everyone had the same issues with it. It's not what they did, it's how they did it and how quickly it got there. Daenerys going from where she was as this fucking saviour of everybody to just inexplicably massacring everybody.
Yeah.
They can say what they want about, we showed you all these hints when she crucified people and stuff. That's not what that was. they were all innocent people, and everyone had thrown their swords down. That it was just too much of a turn. So but yeah, I can't get on board with everyone saying, oh, you know, the show just didn't pick it up. The last season was just its own thing, and for TV, it's fucking incredible what they did. So I don't think you can really complain about it.
I mean, to have 8 seasons of it, and you get so much of the content that you love. Fuck,
I think 5 out of the 8 seasons.
So you just got to live with that. If it's going to go for 8 seasons,
with it. That's what you got.
I mean, shit. I consider The Wire the greatest TV show ever. It had a subpar season. You live with that. You move on.
Yeah. No, the sustained excellence thing's hard.
You remake it.
Have another crack. Fuck it. No, let's do a prequel. 5,000 years before. Yeah, come on. I started trying to watch Westworld season 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
you fell off.
It's it doesn't. It's tried to get way too like down the whole thought provoking. Like there's just actually nothing happening, and there's just a lot of talking about shit.
Have you seen the trailer for season 3?
Mate, I'm like dead set. I got like 2.5 seasons through episodes through season 2, and I've just pulled the pin. I can't do it. I'm just so uninterested, and I loved the first season.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
I look at it and I think it should have been a 1 to 2 season thing.
Yeah, I just don't know where they're going with it now, and I might try and get back to it, but it's such a slog.
Yeah, because I love season 1.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I couldn't put it down. Like, me and Riley watched that, and just, like, we'd sit there and binge it just back to back, you know, awesome stuff. No, I'm out on this stuff, so. Finally got around to watching Wreck-It Ralph 2 with the kids. Just got it on PSN. It's pretty solid. More of the same from the first one. Yeah. Kids loved it, so you can't really complain. They're a bit older now, but they still... I think there's a lot to like with the video game culture stuff that they did. It's a little bit like Ready Player One for more
definitely.
people.
I really liked it, but I just wish they had done more video game stuff. They were too far into the internet stuff.
Yeah. They're too much into Google and Pinterest and stuff like that instead of...
But I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that was solid. More of the same too with How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. Those ones have been pretty solid all the way through. They really haven't had a bad one in that world yet. So that was worth a look, that one as well. Archer season 9.
Are you still on that?
Archer.
Good Lord.
Start a petition.
Nah, Archer, man. I used to love Archer, and it's just so... It's just nonsense now. The characters aren't the characters anymore. They just do their own thing, and the last couple of seasons, I'm just not interested anymore. I'm very upset. I watched one on... I don't know where we found this, actually, but it's called The Boy Who Would Be King. It's like another King Arthur parable thing about... I thought it was going to be dog shit. Not that bad. Like as a kids movie.
It's from the guy that made Attack the Block, I think.
Yeah.
Joe Cornish.
Maybe I didn't see.
You've got to check out
maybe.
Attack the Block. If you like that, you probably love Attack the Block.
Well, yeah, mate. I went in like it was basically one of these like rainy Sunday or something. Like, we'll watch something with the kids. You couldn't find anything. We'll put this on, and I was just going to slog through it and do stuff on my phone.
Yeah.
It ended up not being that bad. It's perfectly fine.
Best King Arthur movie made. Better than the Guy Ritchie version?
I'd rather watch the Guy Ritchie one again, to be honest. But like I said, I wasn't out on that one. We watched Detective Pikachu.
No, how was that?
Not my thing, but it's actually pretty good. It's very funny. There's some good stuff in there. There's some stuff at the end that's a bit weird, and I was like, I don't know if I can get there with this, but way more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be, because I don't give a shit about Pokemon.
No.
But yeah, no, it was actually decent. There is some legitimately funny stuff in it. It's pretty well done. Watched Barry.
Is that the TV show?
Yeah.
With
Bill Hader?
Bill Hader, yeah.
I hear that's really good.
It's freaking good, man. I can't wait till this next season of that comes out. It's really good. Really funny, dark. It's kind of like Dexter, but it's got more comedy, obviously. But same sort of vibe, like the good guy doing bad things, gets caught up, that sort of stuff. It's very, very cool. Big fan of that one. Watched a movie called Criminal with Kevin Costner.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, but also has massive plot holes in it. It's just more of a...
What? Kevin Costner movie with plot holes? Come on.
Nah, well, he's had some good stuff. Like I like Mr. Brooks and stuff like that.
I actually prefer older Costner.
I prefer older Costner and also villain Costner.
Villain Costner? I don't see a lot of villain Costner.
Well, in Mr. Brooks, if you've seen that one, the one where he's a serial killer, watch Mr. Brooks, man. That's good. Really cool. But yeah, this is the same sort of thing. I won't tell you what happens in it because it's worth a look. John Wick 3. Nearly couldn't keep my pants on. Honestly, dead set. Went out for my birthday with my brother and one of his mates. Went and watched it at Hoyts in Woden. Had a great time. The first 20 minutes of that movie are just off the charts.
Unbelievable.
When he starts running, gets rid of his dog, and then you go all the way through the horse stables, the bike chase, into the knife museum, fights against Boban in the library. Like, that's an I reckon it's got a claim to being one of the best action movies ever made. Like, it's that good.
If you go on with just the action sequences,
yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, and they're so inventive, man. Like, slapping a horse to kick a dude in the head, like, so good.
Mark Dacascos too. The way that Mark Dacascos,
his character was awesome. When he sits down next to him, he's like sitting right next to him. And he rubs his leg on. He's like, "That's a pretty good fight."
He was excellent.
Nah, awesome. The Halle Berry character, I probably could have taken or leave that, but it was her dogs. Awesome.
Yeah, her character, it was a weird kind of side thing, but again, that action scene with them goes for about 10 minutes. Her and her dogs
just ripping blokes' nuts off, just flat out.
Yeah,
I just love that she wasn't a love interest in any way. Like, he's still just a singular. I don't care. My wife's dead. I'm just going to go and destroy everybody.
The one thing I went in thinking, after part 2, I've got to accept that, because I didn't mind the expansion of the world in part 2. But then this one just takes it to another level, and after about 5 minutes, I was just like, okay, I'm just got to accept it. It's just gone completely bonkers now, and there's dead set more assassins in New York City than there are people that need to be killed. It's like,
or people just having a coffee. Everyone's an assassin. Yeah.
But once I just said, I'm okay with that, I was just like, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
The spectacle is just, as you said, slapping horses on the arse and not
just everything. It never stops, man. I heard, I think it was I think Jason Concepcion maybe, or one of the guys from The Ringer anyway, and he described it as riding a motorbike down the side of a mountain on fire. Or it was something else, and it was basically exactly that. I watched the movie and I'm like, yeah, he's fucking spot on. Like, just insane, man. It just never stops.
Imagine the adrenaline level if you went through a marathon, the John Wick marathon. You'd be fucking fever pitch.
Yeah, your veins would be popping out the side of your head. Yeah, awesome. And then the last thing, I finally got around to watching A Star Is Born.
Oh, yeah. I've got that in the lounge room. We're going to watch it, but haven't got around to it.
You haven't seen it yet?
Good, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say anything then.
Don't spoil it, but is it good?
Oh, it's very, very good. Yeah, I was a big fan. Lady Gaga's real. For someone that hasn't done that sort of stuff before, mate, turns it on. She's just a naturally talented person. Like, she's one of those people who can just do whatever she turns her hand to. And
Lonely Island.
Yeah.
It's okay if it's in a three-way.
Yeah.
That's old, man.
In the middle less than leeway.
Well, it's old, but we saw it yesterday. And I remember
it's so good.
Lady Gaga was in it.
Yeah. And look, I don't know. But no, she's really good. The musical performances, some of the original songs in it are unreal. Like, really good. And yeah, I was going to say something about the finale, but I won't do that now. But it got me a bit.
Gotcha.
Jared would understand why, because I didn't know that was coming. I went into that blind, and holy shit, buckled me, man, big time.
A man of stone who wept.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Openly wept, or
I was by myself. But it'll make more sense once you see the movie.
So you wept, openly.
I was busted, but a lot of personal stuff going into that. But oh man, I just wasn't ready. I wish someone would give me a heads up. I just wasn't prepared. I saw it. The writings on the wall was going on. I'm like, I'm not sure about this. Yeah. And then when it happens, you're like, oh, okay, I don't even know what to do here. Yeah, fucking destroyed me. So, no, but unreal movie, man. Like, I would watch the movie again just because of how well it's done. It's really beautiful movie. So, that's finally it for me.
No worries. All right. Strap yourselves in. 1985, Commando. Artie's doppelganger's back. Here's the trailer for Commando.
They hunted him down, murdered his friends, and took the only thing he would kill for.
You gotta cooperate. Right? Wrong.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
Remember Sally when I promised to kill you last? I lied.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Commando.
Let's party.
Coming soon to the Bayfield One Theater.
Commando from 1985, directed by Mark L. Lester, who I believe was kind of cut Craig Baxley in the 80s. He also directed Showdown in Little Tokyo. Produced by Joel Silver.
Genius.
Absolute genius. Who produced Lethal Weapon, amongst others. Story by Jeff Loeb.
Jeff Loeb.
It's Jeff, yeah.
I think his name's Joseph, but they shorten it to Jeff.
Right.
He's written a bunch of comics.
Yeah. Well, it says here he wrote Teen Wolf and Batman: The Long Halloween.
Yeah, Batman: The Long Halloween, Batman: Hush, which is going to be an animated movie too, and I think currently one of the honchos for Marvel TV.
Right.
So he's done everything.
Matthew Weissman, who I believe wrote Teen Wolf 2.
The better one.
And Stephen E. D'Souza, who wrote Die Hard. And K9000, which is actually about a cybernetic crime-fighting dog.
Of course it is.
You know what?
Look,
funny you say
D'Souza
that.
probably has to make our Hall of Fame too, because he did write Die Hard.
Yeah.
I think I may have purchased K9000 to put in the Secret Santa at work, because I just got the shits with the Secret Santa, so I picked up K9000 and dropped it in the bag.
You're a bastard.
Someone ended up with it, and they were kind of like, thanks.
Mate, being involved with Die Hard gives you a lifetime pass as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly, and if he's written this as well.
Yeah, that's two for two.
Bloke's had a bloody...
it's like...
I believe he also wrote The Running Man. The guy's a weapon.
Yeah. It's like what's his name that directed Die Hard. He should have just been when he went into the courtroom. He should have just been found not guilty.
Yeah, he should have said,
"Well, you directed Die Hard."
No, I directed Die Hard. Oh, did you? Shit, sorry.
Did he do Predator as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the defense team.
2 for 2.
Predator. Die Hard.
Need we say more?
The
glove doesn't fit.
The guys that get beaten to sit there going, "What about rollerball? We appeal."
It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as John Matrix, greatest name in action history.
Up there.
Rodon Chong as Cindy, Dan Hedaya as Arius, and Vernon Wells as Bennett. The budget was $10 million, and the box office was 57 worldwide. Now, this bit of trivia says that a sequel was initially developed based on the novel Nothing Lasts Forever, but when Arnie declined to return, it was of course reworked into Die Hard.
Yeah.
But I also read some stuff that debunked that said that they actually it had never been considered as a sequel. Commando 2 didn't then morph into Die Hard. It's totally different.
Yeah. I heard there was more ties to the Frank Sinatra movie and all that sort of stuff. The detective stuff. So that's way more plausible.
I believe Arnie recently opened up stating that he was throwing ideas around on the set about cutting the guy's arm off
and beating him to death with it. Yeah.
And he said he was brought into the producer's office. He said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Arnie's response was, "I think I may have got that wrong."
Maybe the producer was the bloke that fly kicked him last
I only saw that story not long ago though, because I only saw that story not that long ago though. I think it was like 2 weeks ago maybe. This story came out. It was on like BuzzFeed or something like that, and it's like the amazing scene we missed out on in Commando.
And Arnie was just talking off the cuff, and I loved it. He was just spewing out all this stuff about how the bloke was telling him he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. You're a lunatic.
That's right. Now look, Vernon Wells described his look as Freddie Mercury on steroids.
What steroids? Was it for acne?
I would beg to differ.
I think you went for Freddie Mercury and McDonald's.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
There were no steroids there.
Wells was also not the first actor chosen.
It's shocking. Did the other guy have a muscle?
Who got fired, and that's why he looks like he's sort of he's a sausage because
the belt doesn't help you. Let's be honest.
The costume wasn't for him; it was for someone else.
The other guy's probably really well in shape and whatever.
I was going to say, let's address the elephant in the room. It's under Vernon's jumper. He's not in ripping Nick, as we would like to say.
It's like they just poured a bag of spuds in his shirt. Poor Vernon. And then that mustache didn't do him any favours either.
I love his arms too. Not a stitch of definition.
No, it looked like 2 tubes of toothpaste.
I mean, good on him. He's been demolishing tins of VB at a rate that you couldn't keep up with.
Where's he from?
I think he's from Victoria.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Victoria.
Yeah, the mustache makes sense then.
So, yeah.
Thinks he's David Boone.
Off a bender.
That's what he is. Booney would have been a better fit.
Get warning.
Alright, okay. I'm going to go first here. This movie is pure ludicrous. It is utterly ridiculous and extremely silly, but the most entertaining movie of that period.
Yeah.
I was looking at Joel Silver's catalogue. At that time, he had Commando, Action Jackson, Roadhouse,
Ooh.
and then Die Hard. Apart from Die Hard, if I had to pick between the others, this is the one that I would always.
See, I think I'm a Roadhouse man there. I love Roadhouse.
This is just so stupid, but incredibly entertaining.
Oh yeah.
From go to woe, it's pure entertainment. Arnie hadn't caught the acting bug.
No.
But it's great to watch.
Some could say he'd been vaccinated against the acting bug.
He had a high level of immunity. He may be allergic.
He had his shots fired in the field.
He's the boy in the bubble from acting bugs.
But you know what? I went 4 out of 5. I love this film. I love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. Gibbo.
More of the same, mate. Honestly, this movie's dog shit, but it is the best dog shit you will ever taste. I'm telling you. I watched it with. I forced my wife to watch it because, again, you know, just a movie day.
It's the kind of shit that comes out of a dog that's been eating grain-fed beef.
But that looks like a Wagyu steak. Honestly, I watched it with Riley, and every time anything happened, I looked over her with this ridiculous grin on my face, and she just shook her head and said, "This is disgraceful." Meanwhile, I allowed my 9-year-old son to watch it with me.
And how did he go with it?
It's the best day of his life. Let's put it that way. I let him watch it. I said, "Mate, it's pretty violent, and there might be some stuff I need to cover your eyes for." The gratuitous full frontal female nudity, I forgot all about that. It snuck up on me.
That snuck up on me too.
So I had to reach over and quickly cover his eyes. But the rest of the time, every time I was looking at Riley, he was looking at me with a big grin on his face too. It's a movie for the little idiot in every single one of us. It's so good. There's no skerrick of a story. It's nonsense. The whole thing's nonsense. The special effects are abysmal, but I love this movie so much. I went 4 as well.
And some of the things Arnie says are just like, what?
The one-liners, man, are all the time just... Anyway, we'll get to all that. But yeah, it's a 4 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to round it out 4 as well. It's just, I can't say...
I'm glad Matty's not here, to be honest, because he would have come in with a 2 or something and said, "This is shit," and I would have had a fly kick him through the cupboard.
No,
you saved yourself, Kate.
It's exactly what we were saying. You know, if you couldn't put this up in film class and say, "This is how you make, this is how you write a script, or this is how you act a scene, or this is how you direct a scene," but it's so funny, it's so entertaining. You can't go 3 minutes without a quip from somebody. It's just so some of the stuff that does work shouldn't work. It's so ridiculous, but it's peak sort of Arnie before he actually found, that groove with Predator and Terminator and that, and started showing some...
Until his inoculations ran out.
Until he finally succumbed to the bug.
It's just amazing. He never got a pneumonia style case.
He just got a sniffle. He had a lot of sniffles from the acting bug.
That's it. It's just sheer insanity. It's kind of, Action Jackson is one of those ones that it goes right alongside with. The things that are happening are just ridiculous. The cops that are involved are just inept. They're just, Arnie's the peak of masculinity, and the fact that the guy that they choose to go against him is so ill-suited physically adds a whole other level of entertainment.
But at least in the final blue, Wells gets a few shots.
They let him match him a bit.
I remember watching it and thinking, Arnie just towels him up.
Right.
But no, he gives him a bit of curry, which I thought was good.
He towels up the rest of the male population in Valverde.
But no one left. Rose bushes and men, they're all gone. Just toast.
Valverde's now a fucking uninhabited island.
No, it's actually the island where the ladies from Wonder Woman ended up. That's Valverde. Yeah, that's why there's only women there now. Arnie went through and cleaned them all out.
Yeah, it was sheer insanity, and you get a dose of everything that you could ask for in an action movie, really.
Yeah. Look, opening. I'm not going to go. I haven't gone likes and dislikes. I've just gone.
Yeah, they kind
it's
of
all there. They
one.
all just meld into this.
I've got a couple of that are tagged as dislikes, but they're funny anyway.
I actually love the opening bit where they pull up in the garbage truck, and the bloke comes out. "I thought I'd missed you," and he turns around and he goes with the machine gun and just goes, "Don't worry,
We won't.
Well, Bill Duke gets a couple of quips of his own. Like he gets that, and then he gets the I like the price on the car, and then just pisses off it. And it's always good to see Bill Duke in these
Love Bill Duke.
80s action fair.
Now let's address Arnie's intro. Carrying a fucking tree.
A clearly styrofoam tree.
Glistening with sweat.
With one arm.
I was just like...
He's got to carry the chainsaw in the other.
I think they did the whole $10 million budget on baby oil.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Baby oil and explosions.
Toted up.
And he's in a pair of chinos that look like they've just been pressed.
The guy hasn't been in the forest.
He was just out of Costco, picked up a couple of pairs of chinos and some work boots.
Yeah. Oh, he's a log I'll take home.
Arnie's not great with kids. When he first sees his daughter, he picks her up and shakes her.
He's like in the video from the "Never Shake Your Baby" sign. Like, he'd be like, what are you doing? It's like the kid with the when he goes, "You're eating other people's lunches? Stop it!" He did that to his own daughter. She wasn't doing anything wrong. Poor little Alyssa Milano, he goes, "I'm getting whiplash."
Alyssa Milano has got a vertebrae issue now because Arnie picks her up and starts going, yeah.
I also like in the very next scene where she jams the ice cream in his face and he does this classic kind of Arnie fake laugh. And, they come out, they've clearly both got vanilla soft serves. Like, why are you swapping here, Arnie? Like, I'm just sitting there going, we've got the same flavour, I'm not falling for that shit. Last time you did that, you jammed the fucking thing in me grill.
Oh, God. But Arnie produces... I mean, I forgot all about this line, and I absolutely burst out laughing. He's sitting at the breakfast table after he's dished up breakfast, and he goes, picks up a magazine and goes,
Subversive.
Why don't they just call him Girl George to stop all the confusion? And I'm just like,
No, but then he tries to say something intellectual about subversiveness.
Yeah, it does.
I'm like, what the fuck? Maybe you're right.
In Munich, they say rock music is subversive. Maybe they're right. And it just continues on. It's like, what?
What's the point of that line?
I missed all that because I was in stitches.
Yeah. I actually had to rewind because I missed the line after that. Maybe they call him Girl George. Dead set. I looked at that and all I could think of was, this is essentially like, it's a product of the time.
Yeah.
But it goes right alongside McBain going, maybe you are all homosexuals.
Maybe you all homosexuals do.
Johnny Matrix, a man ahead of his time.
It's also, during this first intro montage part, this goes through the whole movie, but the theme of the movie, like in like the audio theme, with this steel drum saxophone thing, it plays at the intro, right? It plays over him carrying a log, him fishing with his daughter, him in a car chase, him blowing people up. It's the same music the whole way through the movie. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that? They just must have just gone, we need one piece of music, and then just play it.
You kind of hear it coming in, you hear the dun, 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 and then it comes in with the bloody steel drums or whatever it is.
Steel bongos or something. Yeah, but it's for everything. It's like happy, sad, action, you know, downtime, doesn't matter. It's just in the mall, the music's playing at the same time. Like, so good.
Copping a first look at Bennett, mesh tank top and all, fingerless gloves, I believe as well.
Yeah.
That is not scaring anyone.
I've got a question though.
How do you get to that look?
I don't know. Well, you get picked second. You get
If they wanted the original guy to wear that, whose idea was this?
I don't know. Who was the original guy, I wonder?
I'm not sure, but they could have done with replacing his shirt at least.
We couldn't get another costume. We've got a $10 million budget, not a $10 one. Jesus.
Just take the mesh off and just wear the undershirt.
Yeah.
Way better option.
Well, go shirtless. Like Arnie is pretty much.
Or at least go beltless.
Leather straws. That's what I love about it.
Look like he was a gay wizard.
I think the leather strides, he said, look, these pants don't fit me, but I got these left over from Mad Max. Yeah, we'll just sew we'll just sew an ass in those for you.
Maybe they turned them around. That's why he had to wear the long mesh to cover his front junk.
Question. question, what the fuck is Dan Hedaya doing with that accent? It's funny.
It's a bit up and down.
Yeah.
It's a bit up and down. Mostly down, I would suggest.
Well, lucky they're talking about bloody fictional place.
It was clearly supposed to be a Spanish-speaking nation.
No one can tie that accent down. That's a Valverde accent, that one. He's having an absolute shock, eh? Every time he comes on screen, I'm just like, no, mate, that's not it. Love that sequence where he gets on the plane with the bloke.
Oh, yeah.
Knocks him out with a mass elbow that nobody else sees.
And snaps his neck. Totally legit.
The bloke looks like he's just been hit by a fucking train. He's just got
He snaps his neck, chucks him back in there again. Do not disturb my friend, he's dead tired. Then he gets up, like the plane's about to take off, he gets up and the lady goes, "Sir, you need to get back in your seat." And he just kind of looks at him with this bloody doggy expression. He goes,
I'm airsick. Like, mate, we're still on the ground. You know what that reminded me of? My Bucks party. We had a bunch of houseboats on the river, and after the first night, we had a few
Thunders.
people that were in over their head and claimed seasickness from being on the river.
That was me.
It was Jared.
You know what? I'll openly admit that I had no hint of seasickness. You bastard just wouldn't let anyone sleep. I'm like, fuck this, I need sleep. That was just, yeah.
We had
Dead tired.
Yeah, I was happy to continue drinking, but I'm like, if we're going to continue drinking for 3 days, I need to sleep at some point.
You're in the
Your
wrong
brother
room.
said, anyone to sleep, and I'm going to kick the fucking door down, do this, and I said, oh, jeez, I'm feeling a bit crook.
So between you and Matty Marshall having the world's worst sunburn, remember with his sunburn with the tank top on?
Yes.
Jesus.
I remember that. I do remember that.
I also love the fact that he leaps from the tyre of a plane from about 100 feet, you reckon?
Yep.
Lands,
Into waist-deep water.
lands gently in a waist-deep marsh and then just fucks.
Yeah, but
With a dry jacket.
Landed into a pocket of reeds that would have really kind of, cushioned the fall from that.
We'll get to this sequence later on.
You also you skipped over one of my favourites when that bloke gets shot in his house. And he's there talking about being downwind, and the bloke goes, "What, you think I can smell him?" And Arnie, without a hint of self-awareness, goes, "I did." Really?
Yeah, did you? No, you didn't. You didn't. Arnie, I love you. In fact, Rodon Chong gets a couple of decent one-liners in. She actually says, the little bloke who's hassling her.
The weasel.
Yeah, he comes over to her and says, "You don't know what you're missing," and she responds with, "From here it looks like a nightmare."
That's Luther from the Warriors.
Yes.
The one that clinks the bottles and
And then I
stuff.
think she also lays the slipper into Arnie at one point and says, Arnie says to her, "There's a guy I used to know, he killed her, he wants to be dead." And she goes, "Well, that's understandable, I only known you for 5 minutes and I want you dead."
Yeah, she's got a couple in there.
Yeah, she gets a couple of
By the way, Arnie ripped the seat out and then spent the entire ride sitting with his head fucking visible.
Above the high ammo,
He
yeah.
wasn't ducking down at all, so why'd you have to tear the seat out, you fucking idiot?
To prove that he could.
because
Exactly.
Schwarzenegger.
That was
Same reason he had to carry the tree.
Yes,
You know what most people do? Saw it into smaller pieces.
Look at me.
With the saw in his other hand.
No. What you do is you cut it in half and then just carry it.
It's the same thing as when he lifts up old mate in the phone booth in the mall fight. Unnecessary. Maybe just punch the guy. The window's broken.
No, I love that.
I love that.
You definitely pick up the phone.
I also love how the shit starts going down in the mall, and you see that guy, that mall cop, talking with the ladies, and he goes,
Oh, yeah.
"Hey, well, come and see me kick some ass." Yeah, right.
That's it. Every single bloke in this movie is a massive slime ball.
Yeah.
Everybody. The guys in the truck. I don't think he knows how, but the guys in the truck that pull up next to her when she's got the rocket launcher and he's hanging out the window, "Hey," and then he looks at the old mate and he goes, "Hooker." Oh, why is she a hooker? She's wearing a suit.
Yeah, what? She smiled at you, so she's a hooker.
That's probably his only experience with women.
Well, he did have a head like a half-tooth minty, so he was just assuming.
I love that. He just sort of goes, he looks at his mate and goes, "Hooker." Yep, definitely on for the night.
I think she's got something for us. I bet she does. They're just all slime balls though. But that little weasel guy you're talking about, he is the worst, man.
Oh yeah, the way he gets off the phone and then he starts pestering while she's talking to someone. I'm like, Jesus.
Then follows her to the car park. But even my young bloke, he goes, "This guy doesn't treat women very well, Dad." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I reckon you're right."
You've noticed that.
Correct.
The fight in the mall's cool.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. He's belting blokes left and right. He's lifting up phone booths. He's swinging across on that like the balloon thing that he gets.
There's one hilarious part too where 8 blokes kind of dive in on him and then they have that little kind of tussle for a second and he throws all of them off. I'm like, oh man, that is woeful, but kind of in the spirit of the whole movie.
It reminded me of the scene from what's it called, Teen Wolf, when he does the same thing on the court, when he transforms underneath the huddle and then jumps up and then he starts dribbling or whatever. It's the exact same thing. It's like you couldn't do that, but
No.
Arnie can.
But highly amusing. And then jumping onto the top of the elevator and fucking getting hit by cars.
I've got to say though, that balloon swing scene you're talking about, he dead set grabs hold of it, rips it like it's made out of crepe paper, and then swings off the fucking thing across the mall. If you can tear it with your hands, you probably wouldn't be putting all your body weight on it.
Yeah.
Bit strange, but anyway. Looks good. Timed it perfectly on the top of the fucking elevator too.
Yeah.
Just nailed it.
Remember, Sully, when I promised to kill you last?
Great line.
No.
Yeah, that's right, Matrix, you did.
Absolutely zero emotion.
Also makes 0 sense. It's like they rewrote the script. Oh, we thought this guy was going to be killed last. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. We'll just put in a stupid line.
No, I love that line.
Drop it. Oh, that is the worst. Actually, there's one worse later on, but it worked a treat for some reason.
Mate, punching it on with Billy Duke, loved it.
Yep.
It doesn't really go. It's not really. It's a one-sided affair. Arnie picks him up by his balls and throws him through a wall, which I thought was great.
Well, he's only a Green Beret, mate. Arnie eats Green Berets for breakfast.
That's right.
Hang on, can somebody quickly, let's just do a quick testicle count. Did Arnie get kicked in the pills?
No.
I don't think he did. In this one.
Must have been in the contract.
Yeah, that's
I will
right.
not be kicked in the balls this time.
Keep Sharon Stone away from me.
I just love that sequence between him and Bill Duke because they're both pretty big units.
Yeah. Bill Duke would have been better in the Bennett role, to be honest. He's a lot more believable.
He might have fit in
I had the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I wrote down I would have preferred Bill Duke as Bennett because he delivers lines better. He has better lines.
He's way more intimidating, though. Just the way he speaks, he just sounds cool and
like
tough.
when they start that fight, and what does he say? He's like, "Come on, motherfucker," or something like that. And the delivery is just, yep. He seems far more intimidating than Bennett does.
He should have been one of the big bads, not that other peanut.
Yeah. Was that also the fight where Bill Duke goes, "Fuck you, asshole," and Arnie goes, "Fuck you, asshole"?
I think it might have been.
That was the one I was going to say is worse, but somehow it worked $1 million on screen. I was laughing my head off.
I'll do you one better.
Oh man. Now, I've got a question for you. Why is Arnie breaking into a surplus store using a fucking front end logo?
Because it was available. He just rocks up and there's just luckily one here.
Couldn't you just go around the back and smash a window?
You'd think so.
Yeah, especially after he's done.
And then tool up. We'll spend fucking half an hour.
That's the question I had. They get in there and there's no panic about whether authorities are going to turn up. He just cruises around, fills up all
Because
the...
the coppers are looking for hookers.
Oh.
Yeah, not front end loaders knocking the front of storefronts out. Like, but it's also funny because Kirby talks about, when he first sneaks up on Kirby and he's like silent as as ever or something like that.
He's never silent again.
Exactly. He fucking ramming through storefronts. Like, what are we doing here, Arnie? I thought you were like,
Stealth.
Exactly.
There's no stealth in that bloke.
Nah.
Did you guys enjoy the Bill Paxton sighting?
Yes.
Very young Bill Paxton.
With a Bill Paxton sighting. In fact, could have done with a bit more Paxton.
I'll one up you. Did you enjoy the Bobby Six Killer sighting?
I did not see Bobby Six Killer.
He's the first guy when they get into where they fucking start going on about airline fuel. It was about the only point in the movie where I switched off.
Yeah, he was like one of the leaders in that warehouse.
He turns around and Arnie just fucking, and that's it.
Yeah, and then picks him up and pours him in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was actually 2 days in a row I saw a Bobby Six Killer in a movie. Because last night I was bored eating dinner and I just booted up Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Bobby Six Killer's in there as a bar owner.
Wow.
There you go.
Good mate, looking a lot older, obviously. Bit worse for wear.
Arnie Arnie rocks a bikini brief too when he gets
unnecessarily, I have to point out.
I would suggest yes.
Doesn't get wet.
Yeah, he kind of rocks.
I thought he must have been going to like swim in with like a floating pack behind him. Nah.
Yeah,
gets
he
in a
gets
boat.
there and gets dressed. When he could have just got dressed and fucking.
But then you wouldn't see his back muscles when he's rowing. That's all it is. I said to Riley's like, why is he nude? And I'm like, just watch. And then his muscles start going. I'm like, that's why. And she's like, this is disgraceful.
If I looked like that, I'd never put my clothes on.
Mate, I'd be top around and everything.
Around the thong.
Yeah.
Just from breakfast through to dinner.
Maybe a mankini would rock. That'd work.
No, that covers up too much. I just have the tackle pouch.
Oh, have you seen those things now? The ones that are just like a thong on one side and they come in and grab hold of your twig and giggleberries.
Give me one of those.
And they go in
the other leg.
And the only blokes that are wearing them are these very androgynous looking.
Yeah, look,
I don't know what that is.
I want to leave as little to the imagination as possible. So I'm going to show you a full leg on one side.
But the plus side of this, when he gets in the boat, he gets out of the boat, and then we have the gearing up montage, which is all time, really.
Seriously, that piss take they do in Hot Shots 2.
It's not that far off.
Legit, mate.
It's not far off. I don't know how he walked up the hill. He's got a little knapsack there at one point, like a Merce. I'm like, what does he need that for? Is that his map bag? Like, what is happening?
I think because the sun looked like it was beating in Valverde, so I think he kept his chapstick and his sunscreen in the
Probably a spare pair of socks and a spare pair of undies for when he got chafed. A little bit of talcum powder.
Oh god.
Get moist in here.
There's an explosion that I don't remember him setting the C4, but
No, it's a bunch of claymores, and then they go off not like claymores.
and they blow up about 50 outbuildings at once.
Yeah.
It is the most over-the-top explosion I've ever seen in my life. Craig Baxley must have been doing second unit. Must have been. You can't do an explosion like that without Baxley on board somewhere.
Yeah.
But I love that the buildings are all clearly made out of balsa wood and paper. They go and they just disintegrate and burn in the air because it's made out of nothing of substance. Nothing comes back down. They just flame and they're gone.
And there was a couple of mannequins standing in front of them.
Oh.
They lingered on the shots too long.
Yeah, so the mannequins are...
They look like army men.
Yeah.
As in, like the toys. They're just standing there. They don't move at all.
Where the fuck are all these soldiers coming from? I mean, that said, Valverde's not big enough to have that many people.
It doesn't anymore.
Work everywhere.
That's the whole population has been liquidated by Arnie. A couple of old ladies and a few children left. That's it.
There's a sequence where he's just running along, and there is bullets flying everywhere. There's people. There is about 50 blokes around him, and he's just dropping down on one knee and going...
Yeah, and just put there, and nothing touches him.
he just runs off, carrying a bazooka with one hand.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
There's quite a bit of nonsense, but I've got to say, the garden shed sequence, just top shelf.
Buddy.
Yeah, like the brush cutter blades.
Oh, man.
But when he throws that one and cuts the top of the guy's head off, Riley nearly spewed and Dylan legitimately jumped up out of his chair and yelled, yes. Like, that's probably not a good sign for me as a parent, to be honest, but I was a little bit proud.
It off pretty comfortably, though. It just shaved
It just went straight through it, yeah. Scalped him, pretty much.
Doesn't he also pitchfork a bloke?
He hides up in the roof while they spray it with bullets, comes down with the pitchfork, then throws the brush cutter blade, and then does the other one with through the guy's arm, cuts his arm off. I reckon that's where the scene he was going to bash him to death.
Then he axes a bloke.
And he axes the dude in the nuts.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the exact same thing. That was the part where he was going to fucking hit him with his arm.
Bash him in the head with his own arm.
I disagree with the producer.
Yeah, I say bring more of that.
Mate, as soon as I read that, I'm like, that would have been better.
I'm just like, you're a genius, Arnold. Let's get that in.
Yeah, that was bananas. It was good fun.
So good.
That entire sequence of about 20 minutes where he's just cutting a swath through Valverde, all of that is just goofy shit, but it's just awesome.
The whole island probably sunk below the sea after he left. It's just like, we can't handle this anymore out.
And as I said, I initially remember the fight between him and Bennett being really lopsided, but Bennett gives him a good old buster.
At one point, Bennett's just absolutely pasting him.
He's wailing.
And then Arnie inexplicably comes out of nowhere and just starts going back at him.
That's right.
The fight turns on a nickel. Like, there's nothing.
He's giving him absolute caning in the kidneys, and then Arnie just goes, bullshit!
That's what it is. It's bullshit. And he comes up with a right-handed backhander, and then when he stands up, it's a right-handed cross. Completely the wrong direction.
They do one of those classic directorial things where they just stitch together a shitload of punches to the face real quick. So it's like, Bennett's just out of it. You know, it's just
I didn't finish it that long ago, but somehow I've forgotten about bullshit.
Bullshit! You also have the scene where Bennett ends up on the electric fence and then just bounces off it, and it's like he's the Energizer Bunny. He's just more ready to go, not actually dead like you'd think.
Yeah,
Lord.
he's been cooked.
It was his metal chainmail. It directed it around his body.
Yeah, Bennett was. Bennett also came cheap, if I recall.
I'd imagine so.
He goes, they offered me $100,000. I'm sitting there going, $100,000.
No, but then he says he does it for free.
Yeah, when they said you're involved, I'd do it for free. But I'm still sitting there going, $100,000 seems a little cheap, mate.
$100K at 85. I mean, it was the money year of excess. I need $500K.
Yeah, there's nowhere near enough bag in that.
I've just told you the bloke's the greatest soldier in history, and he probably is going to whip out all our asses. I need $500K.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the other thing I found a little bit, talking about bad parenting is his daughter's all smiles after she's watched him
massacre everybody.
Fucking kill a bloke in front of him with a steel pot.
Yeah, he looks up and she's like, "Hi, Dad. Is the tooth fairy coming tonight?" Like it's just nothing.
Well, I think he should have said, "Avert your eyes."
Jenny, look away. I've got to say though, he's also worth his money, Matrix, because he's clearly either a psychologist of some merit or he's hypnotised Paul Bennett. Because Bennett's got him dead to rights, could easily shoot him in the face, and then he talks him into having a knife fight with him, which he then clearly stitches him up with. Yeah, he just mindfucks him to death, basically.
I'm just going, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, bye Arnold. See ya. I've only got one arm. Like he could have just shot him in the face, and it's all over. He just got caught up in his own hubris.
It also, the film ends with a song from an 80s synth rock song from a band called Power Station called We Fight for Love.
Yeah.
Oh, magic.
Makes sense.
Quite Animal in Houseboat Horror. This song's a bag of shit.
I believe Power Station were an offshoot of Duran Duran.
I was just glad to hear something other than the steel drums and saxophone,
True.
to be honest.
True.
I thought
Anything was better.
I thought we were going to be in for a bit of what's his name? Stallone's mate. Fucking.
Not Frank Stallone.
No, you know the bloke with the jacket and in the.
Robert Tepper.
Robert Tepper.
Yeah, talk about cheap. Him and Arnie would have got along a fucking treat.
I was thinking, is this Robert Tepper? Thankfully, no, but
No,
they didn't have the money for his hair oil.
Yeah.
A little bit more tempo would have probably pushed the movie over the edge.
Oh, it would have been a 5.
Anything else?
No, other than in the last fight too, after he gets mindfucked, Bennett's crazy eyes when he starts showing him the blade and everything. Oh, I'm gonna kill you! And it's like, oh, really, mate? But he goes full. He clearly isn't an actor like of any note.
It's 150 credits, though.
Get
Yeah,
fucked.
there's some duds. There's some very.
Hang on, credits of what?
Oh,
Any
stuff.
other thing.
Are we talking about Bitcoin? Because he shouldn't be in any movies.
One thing I will say in Bennett's
Unless he's
favour,
getting paid in Bitcoin, in Bitcoin.
I'm glad they let him keep his Australian accent.
Yeah.
Because it gave him that little point of difference, and he had a couple of those. That line where he's talking about, I love talking to you and your pissant soldier.
Yeah, I love to use the word pissant.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm glad they let him. They didn't fucking cut that.
Well, that guy,
that was his
slitting
point.
a little girl's throat is like cutting through butter. And then he's like, shut up, dickhead. You've never done it.
Oh, man.
Definitely not an all-time... we always talk about with these action movies, you need a good villain. Arnie's got no one to go up against here. As soon as Bill Duke's gone, there's no one that's going to be any threat whatsoever. No. And you need that.
Bennett's a very poor substitute in that regard.
Yeah.
And as much as you try and sort of sell the fight is back and forth, it's still
you never believe it.
Arnie never looks like he's. I mean, Bennett's blowing after about 5 seconds. He's thrown his first couple of punches here. Hang on a second, just give me a minute, I'll get my breath back.
See, back in the day, you'd think he was never a chance, but then we just watched Andy Ruiz smoke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Joshua. So the fat guy sometimes can pull it off, but this was not that time.
So no, any other things we'd like to bring up about this film?
Not on the no, not specifically the positive side. It's just brilliant.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Could have watched Commando straight away. After finishing it, I could have started.
I've honestly seen it, I reckon, in my life over 50 times.
Jesus Christ. You reckon we're wasting our time?
I was a small child for most of them.
Okay, yeah, true.
But still loved it.
Alright, that's Commando. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify and Podomatic. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Our next episode, we're making up for the fact that Maddie watched the wrong movie.
Except Maddie's not here. So we're all doing this for no reason.
We're going to be covering The Strangers Pray at Night.
May come in for some stick.
Thanks, Maddie.
Possibly. Thank you, Maddie.
Oh.
But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.